Hello. So today we are going to talk about an interesting topic, which is the common pattern of the traits that are found in successful founders. During my career, I was fortunate to have worked with a lot of founders who became really successful in the sense they were able to build companies valued at around 1 billion plus in less than 5 to 6 years, and I got chance to work with them very closely as part of a management team, and I learned a lot from them. I think two things really resonated with me. If I when I look back to my career, um, two things are really common in these founders, and most people think that these things are mostly about they come from either a very rich family or because they had a lot of support from investors, or several other things, but those things are not the right fact actually, which I personally found. So the first thing I found in most of these founders who were successful was, number one was determination. I think the founders that I worked with were going through most of them had the ideas that are quite hard to build, and even if they build them, it has to be really defensible. Defensible in the sense they need to have they need to build something very unique that no one else can copy, because the markets they were going after was mostly consumer market, and the products that we're building were not really extremely great ideas or unique ideas. They were mostly simple ideas trying to make things better. And so in the beginning, many of them actually faced a lot of struggle in fundraising. And I remember working with them very closely because they talked to hundreds and hundreds of investors, and some of them couldn't even raise funds actually. I mean, they were self financing. Um, but the one major trait I found was they were extremely determined. Determined in the sense they will go to any extent to make their startup successful. And the second thing I really found interesting about these people is really focus. They were extremely focused in one direction, and they were even though they were not good at many things, like they were not good operators in the sense they were not good on specific things like sales, marketing, or they were not good on product and engineering. Some of them were generalist. They had some expertise in this area that they were working in the past, but they were extremely determined. And the second thing was they were extremely focused. Focused means that they were not really going after any distractions, because as you build a startup, there's a lot of distractions that come along your way. And these people were able to navigate through any kind of distraction, but on a very high level, they had a really strong direction and focus in their mind, and they consistently worked towards it until they were successful. I think those are the two things I I think that made these guys successful. Because, for example, I cannot disclose because of confidentiality the details of everything, but in one of the cases, in both cases, even before them and after them, Europe, so one was in Europe, another was in Asia. So before them and after them, Europe and Asia looks completely different in the sense the product and the brand they built made so much impact that when they started and after they became successful in 5 to 6 years, the area or the region they built their company looks different because they made so much impact through their startup. So when they were going along in their startup journey, they faced several issues, everything from finding product market fit to fundraising to finding the right operators. But in each and every point they were extremely determined. They kept going, irrespective of whatever it was. People might leave in the middle of a startup. Some people, the people that you hire might lose confidence in you, they might leave, but these guys had strong focus. And when you say focus, it's like focus extended over like several years. It's like 5 to probably like 6 to 7 to 8 years you are focusing on a specific thing, and you're relentlessly like working towards making that work. So high level of determination. Some of them even took like, even they were rejected by hundreds and hundreds of investors, they kept going. Actually, in some way they found money to self finance it, or they found some investor in some way. So I think irrespective of any issues that they were facing, I mean, when you're building a startup you get a lot of issues, and these guys were just like, they keep going like no matter what. So strong determination, I think high level of focus and conviction on what they built. Those were the two main things I really found. And the third thing probably was really hustling mindset. They had like high hustling mindset. So in the sense, whenever some issue comes up, when there is a blocker, they really like hustle, like they do million things, they hard work, and they do a million things even if they are not experts in that, and try to figure out a solution some way. So we're like extremely hustling mindset. And the second thing was like extremely focused. So those are some of the traits actually of successful founders. Many people think that it's because they have some rich dad, or like they come from a lot of money, etc. But that's not generally true, because you go through a lot of hurdles along the way when you build a startup, and you have to be extremely determined. And you need, some of them were taking like super high risk, because the way they were financing it was extremely risky. But no matter what, they will just, they will wake up in the morning, they will just keep going, because they had like high conviction on what they were trying to do. And even if you get like tons and tons of rejections from banks and investors, and whoever you talk to will give you like a negative feedback, because these ideas, even though they look very simple, at a massive scale they did it. Looking back 5 to 6 years back, when I look at it, they have really like built a monster thing actually, because the companies are valued at over $1 billion, and they have really opened up the market. So to do those kind of things, I think you need like extremely high level of conviction, self confidence, when the entire world is like against you. So I think it's a very hard trait to build, but those are the things that are commonly found in successful founders. And I'm also taking a lot of lessons from them, and these are really things that motivate me personally to keep going, and every single day, because I saw these guys really like believe in what they did, believe in their vision, and they had like high conviction, and they just keep going no matter what. So I think when you're doing a startup, you need to have high level of determination and self confidence in what you do, and then you need to have like high level of conviction in your idea, even if like a lot of people are against you. And then also need a little bit of luck actually. So I think it's not only little bit but a lot of luck, because the companies that I was part of were successful also because there was some timing advantage for them, because they were solving at the probably around some macro trend, or so there is some level of luck factor also. But I think regardless of the luck factor, if they were not determined, I think they couldn't have done that. Those are some personal lessons I learned from these people, and I just thought it would be helpful for you in your startup. So yeah, be determined, extremely determined, hustle, have a hustle mindset, focus extremely in one direction, even if you are not expert. Show the willingness to do whatever comes up in as a hurdle for you. You just figure out some way to do it, and yeah, maybe you will get lucky also. So I wish you also all guys all the best with your startups. We'll see each other in another talk. Have a nice day. Bye bye.